Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Are we ready for some Mega Man 5?
I know I am, and I'm sure he is.
Yeah, so this is the, I believe the second race for the tournament so far. In the first round.
We had a match earlier today, and not sure who won in that earlier match today, but it was definitely fun and exciting to watch, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I hope so. I was definitely asleep.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think, well, I was looking at the chat, I believe Primal 85 won the first match. Yeah, Mello says agrees. But yeah, so this is Resistingframe versus Cab. Let's see, looking at the PBs. RF has a 36.28 and Cabby has 40.04. Mr. Cab, 55.
Alright, are we about ready yet? Shall we start? Yes, we are, okay. We are underway.
Alright. Yeah, so basically unless runners are going to do something crazy like errorless or rush only, everyone in this tournament's going to be doing the same Robot Master route. Start with Star, and then do boss weakness order after that. You see RF just grab that letter. Basically, Mr. Cab's going to do the same. I would expect this indicates that they're doing the beat route, and I would expect almost everyone in this tournament to be doing that, except maybe probably Baron Haynes is going to be doing beatless. So definitely be in for a treat when he does his races. It's a little different. You won't see one of the stages, but the whole point about beat, the reason why they collected that letter is there's a letter in each of the 8 Robot Masters, and when you collect each of these letters, it unlocks Beat, who is a faithful bird companion that you can use for all the castle stages. So good stages from both of them. One of the reasons we do Star first is the stage itself and the boss doesn't really benefit much from the weaknesses. You see he goes down pretty quick with some charge busters, but also because you get the super arrow first, which is an amazing weapon, and you'll see it a lot. Resistingframe just got what's called grab skip. See if Mr. Cab also gets it. The main mechanic for this stage is that you're in space, so you actually... Oh, he does not get it. So you see Mr. Cab is falling very slowly. He's basically affected by the same gravity as you are affected by the entire stage. But if you're able to cancel that by jumping at the right time, it saves about a second and a half.
Alright, so now the next runners are on grand stage. And this is a very interesting one. You notice how like you're reversed like onto the ceiling though. And so that can really mess up the controls though.
Yeah, the weirdest part, obviously you're on the ceiling, so you slide by holding up. But it also changes the slide mechanics a bit, where normally in Mega Man 5, you can, if you're holding down during a slide, you can just keep mashing down. You can just keep mashing slide, and you won't jump out of it, unlike Mega Man 3. But for when you're on the ceiling, for whatever reason, they probably just didn't think to check. But even if you're holding up, so the slide direction, if you're sliding on the ceiling, if you hit A, you jump out of your slide just like Mega Man 3. So when you're on the ceiling, you have to be you want to be careful with your slide chain so you don't accidentally jump where normally you would want to be sliding.
Like you'd see on Mr. Cab's screen, though, for an example, like a few seconds ago, he looked like when he was sliding upwards, though, it was like he was about ready to fall off a cliff, but then he slides downwards, though, like really fast, though.
Yeah, it has to do with if you jump at the right timing when you're hitting a gravity change, then you can basically, instead of just kind of falling slowly, you accelerate much quicker. So for those gravity changes, you want to try to jump right before you hit them, right before the gravity switches, so you have faster velocity.
All right, now the guys are going on to Gyroman.
Yeah, gyro is where we really kind of start to see Super Arrow shine. So Super Arrow is interesting. It costs 2 ammo to actually use, but you only actually need 1 ammo to use it. So you see there, RF had 1 ammo at the end of the screen. So that allowed him to use it, even though it consumes 2, but you only actually need 1. And so throughout, in order to have that ammo, this game is a lot about Super Arrow ammo management. And in order to do so, basically it consumes 2 ammo to use. When you stand on the arrow, it consumes ammo, I think, every frame that you're on it. I forget exactly how fast. It's every some number of frames that you're standing on it.
There's also something you have to be very careful of. You see those like falling like ledges like you're about to see on Mr. Cab's screen in just a few seconds, though, where there's a K there, I believe, yeah. So you got to be really careful. Oh no! Oh good. Oh man, that was dangerous, though. Like, see, my point going out is that you got to be very careful when it comes to the falling floor, though.
Yeah, it's that's definitely one of the scarier letters to get, just because the floor is falling out from under you. If you jump too soon, then you don't actually pick up the arrow or the letter. If you jump too late,
the letter,
you
die. A little too late, and you lose a life. Yeah.
But luckily that is the checkpoint room, so you don't lose too much time if you die there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gyroman himself, very easy. In Gravity, we picked up Gravity Hold, which is a full screen nuke. Basically, it hits everything on the screen. If you're playing casually, this is the weapon that you're going to be using a lot, just because it hits everything and it does quite a bit of damage. So let's see, it looks to be about a 15-second difference, I think, or no, 25 between the two. But yeah, so that boss is really easy. You just have to time your shots so that you don't use it while he's in iframes. It's basically the okay.
No, I think Frame just fell off the super arrow and just, I don't know what, I think what he was trying to dodge the falling crystals, though, but then he fell off the super arrow.
Yeah, that's so there's like 2 different heights you can use the super arrow for in this screen. You can do from the top ledge or the bottom ledge. So if you do it from the top ledge like RF was doing, and also Mr. Cab, you have to mash slide while you're under the ceiling. Otherwise, because you're so high up, the game will kind of push you off the arrow. And that's what happened to RF. He stopped sliding a little too soon and held right a little too soon, and that forced him off. And Mr. Cab, unfortunately, yeah, it was very even, but unfortunately took a death there as well.
He jumped into the crystal spikes.
So 1 death each. So it's probably about similar to what it was going into the stage.
Oh yeah. Can you also tell me how this Eddie supply robot what he does in Mega Man 5?
Yeah, so Eddie, he's a friendly robot. Basically, when he's on screen, he'll either give you, I think, one of 4 drops, either a big health, ammo, E-tank, or extra life.
Yeah,
I believe those are the options.
Yeah, he's pretty RNG based, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, usually you don't, depend on him. There are times when you've run out of ammo and you really want to be able to use super arrow or something, and then you just hang around to see if he gives you an ammo drop, and if not, you go on. Usually he doesn't make much of an appearance.
All right, RF made good work of Crystal Man, and now is moving on to the next robot boss.
Yeah, you saw Mr. Cab, RF also picked up the M tank in Crystal, and Mr. Cab also picked up the E tank this screen before. Or 2 screens before. I don't remember if RF did, but the M tank in this game.
There's also the letter though that can be very easy to miss, so you gotta like pay close attention to that too.
Yeah, definitely. So the M tank they picked up, you'll see it later on. Basically, it refills your health and all of your weapon ammo, which isn't a big deal during the 8 robots because you refill your ammo at the end of each stage. But in the castle stages, you basically your weapon ammo persists between stages. So in order to be able to use super arrow, which like we said is a very good weapon. You can see it on RF screen. Like it just gives you crazy horizontal velocity. In order to be able to use it as much as we want to, you need M tanks to refill the ammo. So that's actually one difference between Beat and Beatless, is that Beatless doesn't do the crystal stage, so they don't get the M tank, which means that they have to do some fancy footwork when you get to the castle stages to basically account for the fact that they're missing one whole ammo bar of super arrow.
Alright, so now the runners are on Napalm Man's stage.
Yeah, Napalm, a lot of tigers, a lot of missiles, lots of pits. The one screen that Mr. Cab's in, those dozers, drills, if they hit you, it's an instant automatic KO, just like spikes. So you need to make sure that you don't get burned. So good fight by RF. Got Napalm's weak to Crystal. So Crystal is interesting because it deals 3 damage a shot, even though it's his hard weakness. Well, there's only hard weaknesses in this game. Well, that might not be true, but this is hard weakness, but it does 3 versus like Gravity you saw was doing 4. Star Shield was doing 4 to Gravity Man. So it takes a little longer to kill Napalm.
Alright, so RF is on Stone Man's stage.
Yeah, Stone Man. This stage is, in my opinion, one of the hardest stages. Certainly one of the top 2 hardest stages in A-Robos, just because you're not really in danger. You're not really in danger of dying for the most part. There's like a couple pits that you can end up in. But it's just so hard. It's so long and difficult that there's like a million ways to lose time in this stage. So it's difficult to get a good time. It's hard to put everything together correctly in this stage.
Well, another thing too is, as I want to point out, is that there's also a secret room to where you get another letter in Stone Man's stage.
Yeah, I don't know how they expected you to figure that out on your own, because it's just behind a hidden wall, and there's no indication that it's there. So they just expected you to be shooting all the walls in this stage. There are 2 secret rooms in this stage actually. There's another one coming up for RF, where I believe it gives you an M tank. But yeah, like I
probably
don't.
even
There's
better.
3. I didn't know that, Creed. I only knew of the 2. There's one right here, in Eddie's room. If you shoot to the right, there's a room there. Yeah, I don't know how they expect you to know about these, other than like having Nintendo Power or something. But you see there on RF screen again, power of gravity. You saw it before on Napalm stage. It just hits everything. There's a lot of that screen that Resistingframe was on. There's a harder strat where you do Napalm first. It's harder to execute, but also the time savings that you can get are kind of variable, just because gravity strats are almost always the same amount, almost always the same speed, just because it hits the whole screen. And most importantly, if you kill them, they fly up into the sky, and they don't drop any drops. Whereas if you kill things with anything, with any weapon, there's a potential that they drop ammo, they drop health, and in this game, refilling ammo and health is, I believe, 4 frames a tick. So gravity, killing things, and removing the possibility of getting drops makes it a very consistent strat to use in most cases. And you saw there, Cab actually waited for Eddie to see what he gave him, and he got a large ammo drop.
Alright, meanwhile, RF is on Charge Man stage, which is a very interesting stage because you go from outside the train to going on a train.
Yeah, outside and inside. RF is in the infamous chicken room. Don't know if he dedicated this room to anyone, but I think it looked pretty good. I think he got maybe 1 drop. One drop when he wasn't trying to get one. There is a strat if you get an ammo drop at the end of the chicken room or beginning of this screen, you can do a super arrow basically all over the entire screen. But it's kind of hard to place, plus you have to get lucky. You need to get a lucky drop in the first place. So RF is going into this Charge Man fight. It's very difficult to do optimally. Charge Man's weakness is Power Stone, and Power Stone's not exactly a good weapon. It shoots 3 stones, and you cannot shoot it if there are any stones on screen. That's pretty good though. You cannot shoot Power Stone if there are still stones on screen. So a lot of the time you saw RF, basically he was pausing, entering and exiting the pause screen, and that despawns all existing stones. So that allows you to shoot it again basically when you want, which is when his iframes are up. And there's a more difficult strat where you try to basically fire the Power Stones such that they instantly either don't spawn or they despawn in his hitbox, and so that way you can fire again without having to pause. It's very difficult though. That's definitely a very difficult boss to do, optimally.
What else is interesting about Charge Man's weapon though is, for once, you don't use like the fire button, which on your NES controller would be like the B button though. Instead, you have to slide down and kick though.
Yeah, it's interesting. It replaces your slide. So RF right now is on the bubble screen, the infamous bubble screen. So I believe he was going for bubble skip on the first. I didn't actually see if he was going for the initial bubble skip, but basically for that screen, the way RF did it is the intended method. The large bubbles, when you stand on them, they will support your weight the entire screen. Whereas the small bubbles, they'll pop after, I'm actually not sure, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds. No, more than that probably. But so you're intended to be on the large bubbles to transition the screens, but you can actually, if you time it well, you can actually transition the screens on the small bubbles. And so that actually saves around, I think around like 12 or 13 seconds if you just do, if you do it first try versus if you don't try to do bubble skip. But it can be tricky. And you see RF is now, he skipped the boat, which is a completely unnecessary thing. You can see Mega Man can just walk on the water fine. So he's just chilling on his feet. The way that works, boat skip, is there's basically a cutscene trigger that forces you, like once you hit it, it forces you to walk to the boat and get on the boat. But if you slide, while you're sliding, that trigger doesn't happen. So you put basically a platform of super arrows and ride on them. And before you hit the cutscene trigger, you slide. So Cab is opting not to go for it. So this is the cutscene that you would normally see. But you slide and jump out of your slide to transition the screen. It saves like 3 seconds. The reason why Cab opted not to go for it, and you might see people opt not to go for it, is that if you touch the ground before you transition the screen, it actually soft locks the game. And so you have to reset and enter the password to get into Wave Man. And that loses a lot of time. You either save 3 seconds or lose like, I don't know, a minute and a half. Something like that. Yeah, it's definitely a glitch.
Yeah, soft locks are not good though.
Yeah, so that was, let's see, what was that? I think that was a 19-minute 8 Robo by RF. So going into castles, this is the best screen in all of speedrunning. Like hands down. This is so much fun to practice with all the tigers and everything. It's so much fun. And then there's this cool jet strat where you got the first part, but unfortunately wasn't able to finish it. But you jump on jet to get up above the tiger, and then despawn him into the platform, and that way you can summon him again to jump to the ladder. Really cool screen. And also this music's awesome. So.
Yeah, I gotta go along with that. Yeah.
I see. So Cab's going in the Wave Man, and we didn't actually talk about Wave Man at all.
Well, so he's pretty straightforward. You just use the charge kicking slide though, and just it's pretty much just straightforward. Yeah.
The only tricky part is you can't slide through his water jets. So you either, you could just kind of ignore them, but you ideally want to either deboost off of them earlier so you can just slide through them. Or you can, just kind of take them as it goes. This is kind of sketch. Alright, it's fine. He had plenty of health. Just, some lag and everything. Water Wave is a really weird weapon. You can only use it when you're on the ground. And it summons the 3 things, and then there are 3 different sprites, so you can summon them so that the last one hits, but then the other 2 don't, so it just kind of travels on the ground and you can't shoot again, and it just causes a lot of lag. Which is another reason why we do Star first, is because Starman's weakness is water, or whatever it's called. And you can only use it on the ground, and Starman jumps a lot, so... but the Buster fight is probably faster for Starman than using his weakness, because it's such a bad weakness. Let's see, so Dark 2, there's these conveyor belts. The screen before it, it's kind of scary. Or the screen that RF is in, there's spikes right at the screen transition. So if you transition too far right, you basically spawn, or after the screen transition, you're in contact with. Oh, that was a scary drop, because you're always sliding, and if you get that drop, it could You always expect to jump out of the slide, but the jump or the drop could eat your input, and then you end up just spawning in the pit and dying. So that was a good reactions by RF by turning it around, so he didn't end up in the pit there. That's a very scary drop. It's one of a few death drops that can kill your run if you're not fast enough reaction wise. And I was saying something, but I forgot what it was. A good fight by mrcab. So this is the first time we see Beat, which again was unlocked by getting the letters on each of the 8 robo stages. And Beat's interesting because basically every time he attacks, every time he hits an enemy, it consumes 2 ammo. But his conditions for attacking are kind of finicky. Basically, you have to be stationary. If you're stationary and there's an enemy on screen, he will go to attack the enemy. So you saw, oh, yo, new coil. you don't see the rush coil weapon in this game very often. So shout outs to
no, not too
coil.
often.
But so you can't. So runners will either for
no, yeah, RF just
that guy just
the Joe.
That's an unfortunate death. Luckily, again, this is the first screen, so it loses like fewer than 15 seconds, I think. But yeah, so Beat, you either need to be stationary or so it's basically 0 velocity. So if you're at the peak of a jump, right? If you're at the peak, you have no horizontal or no vertical velocity. So if you're not moving horizontally, oh no, this is a lot of that's a lot of super arrow ammo that RF unfortunately had to use. So he's probably gonna have to do a backup later. But so Beat, I mean it's so late now. But Beat, it's very complicated because you have to be you need to make sure that you're not moving too much when you want him to attack. Is I guess the long-winded way of getting to that point. Let's see. This screen that RF is on is the long arrow screen. It is really cool. When I first saw this run, it looks really awesome because
close to the spikes.
Yeah, the arrow just gets over the spikes. It's so awesome to see.
Oh man,
it's really easy. It's pretty simple to do, but always really fun to see.
I mean, if he was like a little frame off on that though, RF though, I think he probably would have lost a life there.
Yeah. The good news is that so when you do that strat normally, and how he did it is you do a B to an A plus B. So you shoot 1 arrow and then shoot 1 more arrow 1 pixel higher. And so the first arrow, the lowest arrow, hits the spikes, but as long the next arrow, as long as it's higher, then it will never hit the spikes. And you can tell that it's 1 higher just because it's higher up than the first arrow. So it's pretty safe. Like you'll generally know if you're going to get it or not, or if you have to do a backup. So it's one of those secrets that now all the viewers know, that it looks really impressive, but it's pretty straightforward to do. What's not straightforward is Dark 4 that RF is on right now. You have to destroy all these blocks to make the tower fall. But you couldn't really see it there because RF did a good job with the tower, but you can't actually, or the boxes don't have a hitbox basically when the tower is falling. It's really annoying. So you can basically only destroy blocks when the tower is stationary. So it's a very difficult screen to do fast, just because you need to time your shots well so that they hit the blocks when the tower is stationary.
Dang,
and so
it felt like Mega Man almost got killed though by the imposter Proto Man.
Oh yeah, Dark Man. You can't trust anyone with Darkman in their name. I can tell you that much. Especially a Darkman with numbers afterwards. So again, you saw Beat there. You see Beat in Dark 2, Dark 4, and then Wiley 4. So the whole, basically the entire reason we get Beat is for Wiley 4, the capsule fight, because he's makes the fight a lot more consistent. But since you have him, you know, you might as well use them in these bosses. It is their weakness. So it is a lot faster than, especially Dark 4, the Buster strat. Well, that was a kind of a scary screen by Cab, but I think that's probably what he does, because he did that perfectly. Like in the end there, if he had hit either of the droppers, he would have died. But you could tell, like, he did a full jump to give the droppers time to move, so that he'd be able to clear them. So that must be, you know, the strat he always does. It's very well executed.
So we're now on the Wiley Castle stage, and notice how RF is taking the M tank instead of the E tank.
Yeah, I think RF got the E tank probably in Crystal Man stage. And usually you only need them for you know, emergencies, whereas the M tank, it's basically mandatory. And you see him using
like
it
right about now.
Because otherwise you have no super arrow ammo. But you see this screen, and this screen is not fun to do without super arrow. Because like if you jump too high to get onto the platforms, you can jump into the spikes and die. But for a well-placed super arrow, again, that was 1 pixel higher than the platforms. So it allows you to get through that screen and this screen like a breeze. And so this is the Mega Man 5 Crusher screen.
Oh man.
Can be kind of scary.
Yeah, just like if you remember this in Mega Man 4. I mean, I don't know if this is better or worse than Mega Man 4. Oh
god. Wow. That was really scary. He fell into that pit, which you normally don't. You normally don't fall into, so that was really quick reactions to survive. So well done. But yeah, the Crusher, this Crusher is a lot harder, I think, than Mega Man 4. Mega Man 4, you just zip, and you can't die if you're sliding, basically. But this one, you know, if the ceiling catches you, crushes you, it's definitely a death. So this is Big Pets. The intended. Oh no! Yeah.
Oh, RF just took a death there. He was trying to do some kind of glitch where he would try to hit him from behind. Though it was sort of working though, but and then it failed though.
Yeah, he's fine on ammo. That's the strat that we do. Not intended. The intended way is to deploy these platforms. He's taking a lot of damage on this second attempt though. But he'll probably be fine. He has E-tanks also, I think. But yeah, the strat is to deboost. If you deboost on the bottom spike or the bottom platform,
all right, there we go.
Yeah, got it second time through. So I was a little worried about the first time.
Yeah, the first time was all right though, but it's but he sort of had the rhythm down though. But then he somehow lost it though.
Yeah, ideally you get 3 hit. You hit him 3 times every time you deboost. So usually it's a DPS race that you can win. Unfortunately, he was only getting 2 hits each.
Mr. Cab doesn't use the super arrows on the previous screen that we're seeing now.
Yeah. So that again, that's you have to be really careful with your jumps to make sure you don't hit the spikes. So Mr. Cab is using, I think, all of his ammo. Yeah, all of his ammo on this screen. Because I think this screen is longer, so it probably saves more time. Plus, there's conveyor belts, or not conveyor belts, but conveyor wheels to slow your progress. There is actually, I can almost guarantee you won't see it at all during this tournament, but in the Crusher screen, you see it again on Cab's screen. There is actually a zip you can do where as the crusher is pushing you into the ground, if you hit A, so if you hit the jump, oh nice, should jump. If you hit jump the frame, the crusher pushes you into the ground. Instead of killing you, it actually pushes you into the ground. So you're in the ground, and then if you face left, it'll zip you to the right. It'll basically shoot you out to the right. But again, it's frame perfect. I'm pretty sure it's frame perfect. And if you miss it, then you die because you got crushed. Those are the two outcomes. You either get the zip or you die. So it's not
like
something
Mr.
you're going to be
Cap's
doing.
doing this fight on the first try.
Yep. So that'll catch him, or that'll get him a lot of time back.
And then RF though, meanwhile, is doing just finished up with the second fight though in Wiley 2.
Q9, circling Q9 is that boss. It's really annoying to do. He basically, yeah, you saw, goes back left and right, and then he has windows that open up on both sides, and you can only hit him when those windows are open. Even if, like, you can fire gyro shots into his hitbox, by deboosting and firing them inside of him. But if his windows aren't open, he's just invincible. It doesn't matter if you shoot into his hitbox, or he doesn't have a hitbox if his windows are closed. So he's a really annoying boss. Really, mostly down to RNG in terms of like how fast you can do it. So if you never watched Mega Man 5 speedruns, this is going to surprise you probably. But we only do one refight in this game. But you see RF shoots two super arrows, slides left into one, and then basically turns right. And what this allows him to do is allows him to zip through the wall of the refight screen. And it just so happens, thankfully, the designers decided to design it like this. But the next boss fight is in the adjacent screen. So we're able to zip through. This is the only real meaningful zip that most people do in the run, unless you do the crusher zip. But it's very meaningful because it just skips 7 refights, which I believe saves 2 minutes, give or take some number of seconds. So it's very beneficial. Saves a lot of time.
So isn't this Wiley fight number 1 though? Like, isn't it pretty RNG based where he like try and crush you as if he's looking like a windshield wiper?
Yeah, it's very RNG based. He can basically he'll go left and right 3, 5, or 7 times before he drops. So of course 7 times is the worst. 3 is the best, 7 is the worst. So you're basically hoping for him to drop every 3 oscillations. But there is a strat that you can do, or there are various strats that you can do, basically to mitigate the RNG. Because if he bounces more than 5 times, he's gonna end bouncing 7. So you can actually use super arrows to climb to the top and basically hit him twice on a 7. So it's at that point 7s are actually better than 5s because you get 2 hits.
Now we have the infamous Wiley Capsule screen.
Yeah,
everyone loves that.
This is the reason. This is the reason we get beat, is because it makes this fight very consistent.
Oh yeah.
His spawns don't really matter because beat can go and attack him. Ideally twice every time he appears. Whereas the beatless, you don't have beat, so you're only using Buster, Charge Buster, and then you're at his mercy, because if he spawns too high, you can't hit him with your Buster at all. So that route is faster, but it's a casino at the end. Whereas beat, yeah, again, no matter where he spawns. GG by RF, just 37.59. Just sub 38. So GG RF. You see Cab doing the press fight now.
Wow, just barely under 38 seconds though, or something like that. Or I mean minutes though.
Yeah. So his PB is a 36 or something.
By the
but
way,
he
shout
died
out
a
to
few
Mega
times.
Man now. When did he learn to have such superhuman strength?
He is a Mega Man. He is a Mega Man,
That is
so.
such one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in Mega Man.
Yeah, it's a fun ending. Yeah, Gyro or Capsule is damageable by Gyro, but
All right.
like Mello said, it does 1 damage, so it's very slow. So Mr. Cab is going into the Wiley Machine fight, which we didn't get to talk about, but his Wiley Machine is weak to Super Arrow, strangely. Each Super Arrow does 4 damage, so you need 7 arrows. It can be very tricky to do very quickly because Machine always stays on the right until you hit him, and then once you hit him, he'll move left and then right. And Super Arrow has like wind up time, kind of. It takes some amount of time for it to speed up to its max speed. So it can be very difficult as he's moving left and right to, hit him optimally. Unfortunately, Mr. Cab, and this is why the emote Stupid Bird exists on Frankerface Z. Like I was saying before, Beat consumes 2 ammo when he hits an enemy, but Beat doesn't care if he dealt damage to that enemy. So you saw that time. It doesn't happen too often, but Beat hit Wiley while he was in iframes. Didn't deal damage, but he did consume 2 ammo. So normally Beat does 2 damage and consumes 2 ammo, so you have perfect ammo. But because Beat and you see Cab has to use Gyro now, 1 damage per hit. Because yeah, GG Cabby. Because you have exact ammo, because Beat consumed the ammo without dealing damage, that's kind of the end. You have to go for it. You just have to finish him off with Gyro. Is the unfortunate circumstances. That's why that fight's kind of nerve-wracking at the very end of the game. Like if that happens to you, then you're gonna be losing some time. But yeah, GG. That was the first race. It is a best of 3, so we get another race right after this, I believe.
Which will start shortly, so don't go anywhere.
So yeah, that oh yeah, so Cab's PB is 40:04. So this is only 26 seconds slower. So really well done by Mr. Cab.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Wiley Capsule fight. There is a strat. You saw it, RF doing it, and I believe Cab also did it some. Where if Beat attacks, if Beat targets the capsule while he's on screen, but the capsule disappears before he hits it, Beat will basically track it, and so you can see where the capsule is going to spawn, because Beat will travel to his location before he actually shows up again. So the optimal fight is, well, it's not optimal, but typically what you want to do is start off with Beat tracking him, and then every single time he appears, you have Beat attack him twice and then track him again. And so that way, in that fashion, you can kill him in cycles. You can also do a starting hit, which is what Cab did. You got a hit in the very beginning, and then after that, hit him twice every time he appears. But that's a lot harder to do it that way, just because of the travel time, basically. Because if Beat's tracking him, as soon as Wiley appears, he does damage. Versus if Beat is next to you and has to start moving when he appears, it's harder to get those 2 hits. It's also dependent on his spawns at that point, but yeah. that capsule fight's going to be why you're going to see Beat in 17 of these runners races, and then the 18th. I think there's 18 people. The 18th is Baron, and he'll do Beatless, and then he's at Capsule's mercy.
Good luck with the Beatless run.
Yeah. So I believe, I think these numbers are a little outdated, but when Baron was initially timing out the differences between Beatless and Beat, I believe is around 22 seconds. Beatless is faster than Beat by 22 seconds. But that's if you get an optimal capsule fight. And every time capsule appears and you cannot hit it, it loses 7 seconds. So basically, what that means is if you do Beatless and you have 3 unhittable cycles, then it's roughly equal to Beat. The problem is that, I mean, it's total RNG. Wiley Capsule can appear at the top of the screen 50 times in a row if he wants to, and you'll never get a hit on it. You'll never be able to hit him just because of how, Charge Buster works. So you live and die by the capsule spawn basically for Beatless. But it is, again, optimally 22 seconds faster, so that is the world record. The world record is using Beatless now.
All right, we should be ready and momentarily to start the second race.
Yeah, I unfortunately couldn't get into my IRC client couldn't join, so I don't actually know when the race is starting. But yeah, it should be momentarily. Our runners reset. So this game's a little odd. You saw, I kind of got into arrow bumping. So to preserve super arrow ammo, you can actually walk off of it. And super arrow moves so fast, it'll push you back on. And so that's kind of what you saw these runners doing. They walk off and get pushed back on. And since while you're falling off, you're not on the arrow, it actually doesn't consume ammo. But the weird part about this game is that oh yeah, here we go. Run number 2.
We're starting the second race.
With this game, if you let the intro play too long, it actually sets a memory value such that if you try to fall off the arrow, you actually will fall off. Whereas you actually want it to push you back on. So it actually, if you let the intro play too long, then you're going to lose time later. So runners will always reset the game before they start runs of this game.
All right.
Yeah, so this is actually kind of a scary stage to start in races and relays and such, just because you see all these spikes on the ceiling, on the ground. It's very easy to accidentally hold the jump button a little too long, and you end up jumping into the spikes and dying. So it can definitely be a scary stage to start with.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, so I guess to go into some details about Starman, you see Starman will he'll keep jumping up and down, and then when he gets to the top and to the bottom of a jump, he can choose to jump again or stop and shoot the star shield. So ideally, you want to basically hit him with 7 charge shots. No, that's not mathematically accurate. 9 charge shots, that does 27 damage, and then hit him with a lemon in between, usually the second hit, to do the 28th damage.
Well, another thing to point out, though, is that the Star Shield also moves pretty slowly, too, when he releases it.
Yeah, it does. I don't actually know... I don't know if it matters, like, time-wise, if he if he throws it or not, like lag-wise. I don't know if it matters. So like whether he keeps jumping or if he stops, I think if you are ready to hit him whenever his iframes are out, I think it's about the same time. I don't actually know though. I've never timed it out.
Well, now we're back onto Gravity Man stage, and just want to have to be careful that you're upside down on the ceiling though, so you're pressing up to slide instead of down.
This is a hard stage to learn for me, just because of that.
Doesn't it also
mostly just because of the fly chaining?
Doesn't it also invert the controls as well, like where you move, like where you normally move left and right? And I mean,
no.
I don't know, but I don't know for sure if like if you're upside down, you like either, or does it really matter though?
No, your left and right stays the same.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just you have to hold up. You have to hold up the slide. Yeah.
Which can be very confusing,
that'd be awful if you had to. That'd be absolutely awful if you had to keep in mind.
Move opposite, yeah.
Oh, that'd be bad. Yeah, so Gravity, this fight was scripted for the longest time. But a couple of years ago, I think, the task actually can go for... The task gets 2 extra hits in this fight. One of them, I believe, is not RTA viable. The other one is, but it's very difficult. So that strat is called half task because you're getting half the number of hits as a task. Half the number of extra hits. But it's very difficult to do, to execute properly. The good news is that if you go forward and miss it, you typically don't lose any time. Neither of these runners went for it, though.
Hang on for a sec, though. So we got a raid from SpeedGaming 2, a party of 41. Thank you so much, SpeedGaming 2.
Yeah, welcome to Mega Man 5.
I think they just finished up Super Mario All-Stars.
Oh, nice. Are we still using mrcab's audio?
I can switch it if you want. Yeah, we are, but I'm gonna switch to this. Hang on. There we go. I switched it out. Because he was just finishing up while RF was finishing in the last game, so thanks for reminding me. I kind of got a little sidetracked.
No problem. So three for 3 for picking up the letter. Hopefully Cap can get it as well.
Yeah, the floor there on the falling floor on Gyroman stage, that's actually pretty scary though.
Yeah. It's fitting that the letter is a K, because it's K, and the letter is K for kill. It's very, very easy to die.
Well, that's Japanese screen for like it's like because in Japan it's like Rockman 5, you know.
Yeah, Rockman 5 versus Mega Man V.
It'd be
the letters do
different.
change for the Oh yeah, I guess that's something to talk about is the version differences. Mega Man 5 versus Rockman 5. Everyone, for the most part, you're going to be seeing people run on the Japanese version. It's exactly the same mechanically as the English version. The only difference is the Darkman 4 cutscene is, I think, like 17 seconds faster or something on the Japanese version, just because, of course, character scrolling. The same reason most games use Japanese. But it doesn't matter if you speedrun in English, that's fine. The leaderboards will convert your time for you, so it's perfectly acceptable. You don't lose any time if you run on the English version, just your life. So
let me ask you this question though: what is the K replaced with in the English version of Mega Man 5?
I don't know. If it's the same, if it uses the same order, it would be A.
I would be guessing A though. Like,
Yeah.
that's
No,
a good
yeah, no,
guess.
I think it is. It is A. The practice hack for this game. If you want to run this game, by the way, you should join the Mega Man Discord, Classic Mega Man Discord. And there's a practice hack for this game. It uses the English version, and I believe it's an A for that screen.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this stage though, Crystal Man stage, can be a very hard stage though. Like ways you can like lose a life, like those crystal spikes right there, and the 5 you could easily lose though if you watch your fall though.
Yeah, those crystal droppers are very scary. Normally it's not an issue. Like if you do like optimal strats or whatever and do them properly, you don't actually risk dying to them at all. But if you get off by a little, or like you saw Cab was walking, and so like when you jump, the crystal droppers spawn is random, whether they'll spawn or not. So if you decide to jump across and it spawns then and it hits you, I basically every time you get hit by one of those, you're gonna die. Like you fall into a pit or something. But
well, another thing too is that you want to also, when it comes to the 5 though, you want to stay as far to the left as much as possible in order to have an easier chance to get it.
Yeah. So you saw Cab, I mean it was a while ago, but for like casually, Star Shield will basically absorb a hit for you. So if you're walking across those screens with the crystal droppers, you can use Star Shield and it'll actually absorb the crystal dropper, and you won't get hit by it. So if you're playing this game casually, or if you need a backup, then that's definitely the way to go. It can definitely save your life, just because you won't get knocked into the pit or something, which is very easy to do. It's a hard stage.
Thankfully, this time around on Crystal Man stage, both of the runners didn't have a difficult time trying to beat the stage.
Yeah. This is last run or last round. I believe both of them died once on Crystal. So
yeah, in the previous race.
Yeah. So for both runners got through the stage unscathed.
All right, so now we're on Napalm Man. As you see on Mr. Cab's screen, those drilling spikes though are you actually is an instant death.
Yeah, you saw him using Star Crash again. Because again, just like I just mentioned, it absorbs a hit and it'll kill those drills, so you don't have to worry as much. So Napalm, there's actually no RNG for his behavior. It's all dependent on your distance from him. If you're far enough away, he'll shoot the three napalms straight, which is what you want. So ideally, whenever he's about to shoot, you want to be far enough away that he does that. Or if you're close enough, he'll shoot an arcing shot, which I assume causes lag, but I'm actually not sure. But ideally, you want to be far enough away that he does the straight shots anyway. So yeah.
We got another we got another raid from SpeedGaming 5 though, this time with 109. Nice.
And all the raids for this the best Mega Man game ever made.
Yeah, well they came from the Super Mario Brothers 3 tournament, so we're having Mega Man and Mario joining. No, just kidding. More like the Mario group joining. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3 Rando 2, Mega Man 5.
Nice. So you saw, kind of touched briefly about Super Arrow being really fast horizontal movement, but you saw RF and you've seen him doing this a lot. Do this a lot, but it's also really good for gaining height because you jump much faster than you climb. So like whenever there's a ladder, if you have extra super arrow ammo, if you shoot a super arrow and jump twice, it's going to be way faster than just climbing, jumping once and climbing. So super arrow is an amazing weapon, both for horizontal speed and also for climbing, gaining vertical height.
I see. They just use the Mega Buster to get the C right there. I mean, that's just simple, though. If I'm not mistaken. Unless there's another weapon you can also use.
You know, I don't know.
All I saw from Cap Screen was the Mega Buster to get the C, the letter C.
Yeah, that's what we always use, just because that's the weapon you have out. Pretty good pattern for RF there from Stone Man. I'm not actually sure if other weapons can destroy the wall. I'm not sure, but we always use Buster because that's the weapon we have equipped.
And it also seems very easy to get sidetracked from it as well, wouldn't you say?
From the letter?
Yeah, the letter.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we got Charge Man for RF.
1408s. See what kind of Stone Man Mr. Cab gets. So there's basically two different things that Stone Man can do. He'll either do a small hop or he'll do a tall jump and smash into the ground. You ideally want him to do small hops just because he's vulnerable during the whole duration of that. If he does a large jump, which is what he usually does, he's invulnerable when he's a pile of stones on the ground. So I think RF got a slightly better pattern there.
Is it pretty RNG based, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, so Mega Man 5's not really known, or I mean, as far as I know, is not really known for crazy boss RNG. Like we talked about Capsule. If you do beatless, is very bad. But like in general, boss RNG is like probably a few seconds for each boss. As opposed to like if you run Mega Man 4, Mega Man 4 has a crazy amount of time you can lose just on boss RNG.
For example, like a couple of bosses, though.
Yeah, like you got Gyroman who can dive a bunch of times. You have the square boss, which can lose you a ton of time.
Dustman,
yeah, for how long he can suck.
Yeah.
How long he decides to be invulnerable. Skullman, kinda, because of his invulnerability as well. But so yeah, Mega Man 5, there's definitely better patterns and worse patterns, but it's not like a huge deal for the most part. Like Charge Man can either decide to be angry, which he stops and shoots like coal at you, I think, and coal rains at you from the sky, or he can charge you. He can basically run at you. And you actually want him to stay stationary for the best fight. But again, it's like a couple of seconds, I think, typically. Not too much time. Sorry. There's also Wiley Press fight, which can be, as we touched on last race. It can lose you a lot of time. Well. So Wiley Press, which is the Wiley 3 boss, can lose a lot of time. And so RF is going for a bubble skip, but he's you saw him trying to land on the small bubble. Oh nice. You got the bubble skip back up. That's a very difficult backup to do, actually.
Oh man, I was hoping he wasn't gonna fall into the spikes. That would have been disastrous.
Usually, once you've transitioned the screen, you're okay. But that screen transition is hard, especially if you're trying to land on the bubble. If you try to land on the bubble, I'm not sure how many frames, what the frame window is, but it's not very large. I would guess like a few frames. But you're basically trying to land on the bubble or be at the same height as the bubble as it reaches the top, and that basically allows the screen to scroll for you. So that was cool. He basically just saved like 12 or 13 seconds on himself for the last. Or no, I guess if you only do the second screen, it's probably less, maybe like 9 or 10 seconds. So that's cool. that backup is hard because it's not necessarily harder than the normal strat, but you don't usually do it is why it's difficult, right? Like it's a backup. You could get a visual cue for that just like you do for the normal bubble skip, but usually, you know, like if you're doing PB runs, if you fail bubble skip, you're probably going to reset. So you don't normally do the backup. That's why it's just kind of harder. But yeah, you see Cabby chilling in his boat. Again, boat skip saves about 3 seconds. I think bubble skip is, again, like 12 or 13 or something.
Now, if I'm not mistaken here, and like when it comes to speedrunning the Mega Man games in general, though, is like Mega Man 5, is this like the only game where you can actually skip like all the rest of the boss refights?
Is it? Well, there's Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1, you can skip all the refights because you for Bomb Man in the Bomb Man screen, you can get it so it basically puts you up into the ceiling and you zip all the way through the entire boss refight section and die and respawn right before the final boss.
We got the best grinding stage in the game, though.
Yeah, that's right. Best screen. So yeah, Mega Man 1, Mega Man 5, you have to fight one boss. There's Mega Man 4 technically does have a boss refight skip, but it's effectively task only. I believe it's 14. You have to do 14 inputs in a 17 frame window. Okay. So there's like 14 frame perfect inputs in 17 frames or something. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's task only. I think that's. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Creed is right. You can skip 2 of the other refights.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well. Like, there's
those.
also refight skips in Wiley 2, skip cut, and elect yes, and aside from the one in Wiley 4. Okay.
Yeah, so you basically skip them all in Mega Man 1.
Yeah.
The Wiley 2 ones are much more difficult than Wiley 4, though. Wiley 4, all you have to do is be able to mash, but then Wiley 2, you have to you basically use magnet beam to get up into the ceiling, and I believe you have to like let go of a direction and hit A on the same frame or something. I don't run one, so there's probably someone in chat that knows better, but the Wiley 2 refights are a lot harder, and I think typically only the top runners go for that. Armadillo in X1. You can also skip Coanger in X1 as well if you get lucky. Drops.
Well,
for
when it
classic
comes
Mega, I think it might.
well, when
be
it comes
one
to
of
the Mega Man X series stage, it's like, well, when it comes to Wily 1 though, I was like wishing that why couldn't this be like Mega Man X series, you know? Where you get to collect as much energy as much as possible.
Yeah, sub tanks in the X series are definitely nice. Let's see. Cab. Okay, so Mr. Cab stays on the left for the Wily 1 fight. Probably E-Tank here. Yeah. Another consideration in this game, since we use M-Tanks a lot to refill super error ammo, you do want to be cognizant of like how much other weapon ammo you're using throughout the stages, and it's more of like an top level optimization. But you want to try to, like in that fight that RF did, you want Beat to attack as few times as possible to consume as little ammo as possible. Because each refill is 4 frames. It's just like a general note. Yeah, nice. New coil again. I don't think it's.
Have you also noticed something? None of the runners in Game 2 have taken a death.
Yeah, that's true. So Cab is probably on pretty good PB pace right now.
Knock on wood. I hope it keeps up. Though
yeah.
we're both.
Hopefully, we didn't just jinx him. But
I know,
because last time he was 26 seconds behind with a death in Crystal, and I believe another death later. So definitely good pace by Cab.
If I jinx any of these runners, it's on me though. But it happens.
Commentator curse.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
I would just say drinks are on me.
So this dropper room that Cab's on right now is actually really tricky to do quickly because of your like you ideally want to hit them with charge busters, but I guess that's one thing we didn't cover. In this game, your charge buster doesn't actually charge while you're sliding. It only charges when you're, well, any other state. So like when you're walking or jumping or whatever. So that kind of comes into play for different screens. Like you need to sometimes give up speed. You need to walk rather than slide, which is slower movement-wise, but it allows you to charge your buster. And that's kind of why that dropper room can be tricky, because you need to walk essentially to be able to charge your buster to be able to kill those guys.
Oh, now here's the thing we did not see previously in the previous game, but when one of those shots from those robots hits Mega Man, it freezes Mega Man. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, he's a tricky boss. Those rings, like you said, if they hit you, they freeze you. And that boss is kind of weird. Like if you don't hit him, he'll jump around. But as long as you're constantly shooting, he'll basically always shoot those rings. And so essentially you want to just stand in his face and keep hitting him. And either jump early to make him shoot his rings up, or as you saw RF doing, he was standing there and just jumping over them as he shot.
Uh-oh, looks like we got the commentator curse sound. Oh, no, I think... Oh, Proto Man saving the day!
With the L-Tank. The only instant of the L-Tank in this game.
Thank you, Proto Man!
So this fight is actually... the Dark 4 fight can be kind of scary. It's kind of... it's just, again, just a DPS race. you're basically tanking his hits and just letting Beat constantly attack him. And you're usually going to be fine as long as Beat doesn't attack his iframes. So it is kind of tricky positioning wise because you can be too close and he'll hit his iframes. But as long as every time Beat attacks, he does damage, you're usually going to be fine. It can definitely be scary though, because when you're one hit away from death, you're going to start dodging, right? You don't want to get hit. But again, with Beat, he only attacks if you're stationary. So that's the tricky part. Is like you need to dodge his hits, but also be stationary long enough for Beat to actually attack. Otherwise, like a lot of times, but it's hard to keep that in mind. Like a lot of times, you're just kind of jumping and moving and constantly just trying not to get hit, and Beat will just like never attack, just because of that, that's his mechanics. So Dark 4 fight can definitely be scary. And so you saw Cab was jumping to make the boss shoot his rings up, and then you can just stand on the ground and keep shooting. So there's the two different approaches between the two runners.
I'd rather have him do that than just have him jump and shoot his gun, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the jumping is unfortunate. He'll, like I mentioned, he'll typically only do that in the very beginning, because if you're in his face damaging him, I forget exactly the mechanics, but if a small enough amount of time has gone by since he's been damaged, he'll always shoot. So like as long as you're constantly applying damage to him, he'll always just stay there. But obviously in the beginning of the fight, you haven't damaged him yet. So he'll either like walk and do nothing, or he'll walk and jump, or he'll just jump. But yeah, it's definitely
RF just squeezed right through the chicken like perfectly.
Chicken jump. I think he's done it. I think
no damage.
They both did it. Yeah, it's a fun screen. So let's see. RF died to this boss last run. Let's see how he does this time. It's definitely like I've
oh no,
choked a lot of runs to this boss.
Oh no!
Same. I think
I called
possibly
it.
The same,
oh my god!
The same hit as well. The problem with this is that the head does like twice as much damage as the body. So I think that's what's happening here. Is
oh my goodness! I can't believe this. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a simple enough fight in concept, but when you're in a run and like you're on PB pace, or you're in a race, which also has a lot of adrenaline pumping, it can definitely be easy to make mistakes, especially for that reason, because the head does so much damage, rather. But you typically try to deboost off the body, and I think that probably RF is used to deboosting off the body, and so and it's usually not as big a deal. But then if you just take damage from the hit or damage from the head, like suddenly it's like 12 damage or something. It's something insane.
I was kind of hoping that RF would have succeeded with that the first time around on the Wiley fight number 1.
Yeah, it's tricky fight. Baron Haynes, who's the number 2 runner, number 2 time on the leaderboards. He had his Wiley 1 split name was Big Chokes for a while, because the boss's name is Big Pets, but it's such a hard boss to do when you're on pace that I mean it's a very appropriate name for it. And so stuff like that happens. RF just did a strat called Chicken Ride, not to be confused with Chicken Jump, which he did earlier. But basically, you summon Rush Jet high enough that you get above the chicken, and then you just kind of glide over him. So yeah, Q9, like I mentioned before, you can only damage him when his doors are open. Ideally, you kill him before his doors close again at the end there. But like when he's moving, his doors can open early or mid, like early in the cycle or middle in the cycle, or it could just not open till the very end. And so that fight again can differ. Like if you get an early opening, I think if you get 2 early openings, you can kill him while he's in the bottom right corner, which saves like, I mean again, it's 7-5, so it saves like a few seconds or something, you know, not like earth-shattering, but
so
you know, it's just another
refight I was talking about earlier, the one you just face Napalm Man and then you just instantly skip all the rest of them.
Yeah. I think this refight skip was initially, you can do it, this is the app setup with 2 arrows. You can also do it with 1 arrow. It's harder, but it saves an arrow ammo. But I think this refight skip was initially found, I believe, using the top capsule. But the problem with using the top capsule is it's charge man. So if you use the top capsule, you have to beat the boss first before you could use the skip to zip through their section of the wall. So using the top capsule meant you had the fight charge twice, which is less than ideal. Napalm twice. Napalm's, you know, a lot simpler. So essentially, again, no RNG for that fight because it's all based on your positioning. So this is an ending 7. Never what you want to see. Again, ideally, he stops every 3 rotations. And I mentioned before that there's strats you can do to mitigate the RNG, which include hitting him twice on a 7. You can actually, top runners can hit him 3 times on a 7, and then also get double hits on every other pattern, which makes it like an unbelievably fast fight, which is also like unbelievably difficult to do. Is Cabby listening to the commentary right now? But yeah, Papat can do double hits on every, or he might have been doing it for another strat.
I think Mr. Cab has also briefly been appearing in chat though, as well.
Reading chat, potentially listening to commentary as well.
Alright, now we got the infamous capsule fight again.
Capsule fights. This wait, this could be. How long is this fight? Is this PB pace for RF? It is. I think if this fight goes well, he should be able to PB. Oh, we'll see. I forget how long the fight is actually, but it definitely seems possible. Depending on spawns and, well, maybe not anymore. Probably just jinxed him. I should stop talking.
You're telling me
as long as he doesn't
now.
die. Okay, he's e-tanking to be safe.
So first I jinx him, and now you jinx him.
Yeah, it's, my bad.
We're horrible people. I'm just kidding.
Dang,
All
that was GGRF. That was 2 seconds off of his PB, with a death in the Wiley 1 boss fight and an E-tank in the end. So if he had an E-tank, that would have PB'd. But it makes sense. Like it was, I think if he had gotten hit one more time, maybe he would have died. So it's definitely a good call to E-tank. Make sure you can finish out the fight. So now it's on to Mr. Cab to see if Cabby can PB. You see Resistingframe added some eyeballs to his stream, in case you wanted to see some Some robot eyeballs. So these are, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that was a 3. So you can count the oscillate. Basically, every time he hits the wall to the left, counts as an oscillation. So that was 5, or it's 4.5. But you're hoping for, this is a 7.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, you'd have to kind of count like really fast though.
Yeah.
And good luck with that.
So, I mean, like, typically runners will count, and just because you can get a double hit on a 7. But again, you could count and it might not mean anything at all. You could get you could just get 5s all day long. Or if you're not going for doubles, like neither of these runners are going for double hits on the 7s, which basically means that 7 is absolutely the slowest pattern, and you don't want to see it at all. And then you're just kind of sitting there, and he just keeps bouncing, and you're just waiting for him to drop.
So can we bring in
a lot of time.
RF for an interview?
I'm not sure how, but if we can send him an invite.
We can send him here, yeah. I'll just
So these are the tracks that Cap has. Shows you where he is, and then you can jump up. So the idea is, like, you basically meet beat halfway, and so beat returns to you when you're at the height of your jump. And since you're at the height of your jump, again, you have no vertical velocity, and as long as you're not moving horizontally, it allows him to attack again. So that's the idea. But again, it can be harder. Easier said than done is the expression I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Damn, GG.
Oh yeah, this is a sub 40.
Cab just PB'd live.
Congrats
You saw it here
Mr.
first.
Cab.
Sub 40. GG on the PB, Cab. GG on the race win, RF. And an almost PB for RF as well.
Alright, let's see if we can get both RF and Mr. Cab in at the same time.
Sub 40 on all NES Mega Mans.
Wow.
Pretty good. Pretty good. certainly better than... Certainly more than I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know, Cab has speedrun every Mega Man game in existence. Do we need to click you as done?
Let me see if I can get... So, who do we click as for done? Like both. Who do we click for done?
There we go. I hit done for both of them.
Oh, you got this. Okay. I clicked the score, though.
Yeah, you got the score. Actually, it's lucky that I did it in that order. I didn't know it actually showed the winner for the order that you do it in.
All right, we're going to have Mr. Cab on set. Hey, what up, Mr. Cab?
Hi.
Hey, good job on your sub 40 in the second game.
Thanks. Well, I hate Crystal Man. What can I say?
Definitely a tough stage to do. So this was your goal? Your goal was sub 40, and all.
Yeah, just with everything else going on, I see Mega Man Tournament. I click join Mega Man Tournament. So kind of the goal here was let's join this and learn a couple of screens and finally get my sub 40 in this game. And honestly, nice. I posted this in the Mega Man the classic Discord, like the PB channel the other day. I had like some ridiculous Wiley stage paces this week.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have half a mind to push for that 38, but I also
should.
know I have no free time to do it in.
Hmm.
So something to look forward to.
Hey, Mr. Cab, I know it didn't really affect you, but it affected the other guy, Resistingframe. That a couple of us first me, I jinxed him though, and then of course, Viral Pigman just jinxed him as well by I don't know what he said though, but what were you like when you were hearing us say something hearing me say something amongst those lines?
Oh,
I wasn't
were
listening
you
to
listening? Were you
I was
listening to us?
No, I was watching but not listening.
Okay.
Oh, well, you've heard nothing though. But if we can get Resistingframe in, I mean, if he's able to, that'd be great. Though, if not, that'd be unfortunate.
But yeah, if not, then GG on your PB, Cab. Looking forward to your upcoming 37.
37. I will probably have a 43 in Mega Man 5 before I have a 37 in Mega Man 5. You knew I had to say it at some point.
Yeah.
Somebody has a bet on that out there.
So I saw, Mr. Cab, that you were also briefly in the Twitch chat, though. I don't know why you're in when you're supposed to be focusing on the game, but it's all good, man. But I mean, saw that you were in the chat, talking to a couple of these people in the chat.
I mean, realistically, I know where I stand in Mega Man 5, so there's enough places where there's downtime, be it like a screen transition onto a water bike or a ladder or something like that, where it's like, okay, I've got a second to look. And
For sure.
that's always fun. We love Speed Gaming chat. We wouldn't have a show without Speed Gaming chat. We love you, Speed Gaming.
Resistingframe said he didn't get the invite though. I mean, he's trying to get in though, but do you think we could try to get him in again? Do either one of you guys want to send the invite?
I don't have it. We would need someone on tech to do that.
Okay. I mean, I think he was trying to get in though, but I don't know. He's just mentioned in the Twitch chat.
I can send him the link that we were.
Yeah, you can try that. You can try that again.
So, Mr. Cab, having speedrun every Mega Man game on Earth, which would you say is your favorite to speedrun?
Oh man, you're gonna make me think of something that's not Mega Man V here, aren't you?
Preferably.
It's an interesting question though, because as much as I do love that Game Boy game, it has that and every speed game has this to some extent. There's an impossible trick somewhere halfway through the game, and you have to think to yourself, how often do I want to play the game for 20 minutes just to kind of get walled repeatedly all the time?
Okay, Resistingframe's coming in. Will be coming in momentarily.
I mean, I really did kind of fall in love with 4, and I'll let Resistingframe take over from here because nobody wants to hear about Mega Man 4.
All right, what up,
definitely don't.
Resistingframe?
I just want to know who jinxed me, man. Who
Both
did
of us did.
Certainly, we did not say. Hopefully, he can do this big pets fight correctly this time.
Oh man,
Those words did not come from our mouths right before.
Resistingframe, I'd like to thank you for keeping it interesting with that big pets fight.
Nah, man, I got petted big time, bro. Twice.
Well, I started the jinx first though, so I said, well, none of you guys have lost a life yet. Then you were on Wiley Fight 1 though, and then you were and it was and I was like, oh, I think I spoke too soon.
Yeah, I think I just miscalculated, and also I think I missed a shot towards the end. I gotta recheck that on the vid, but I'm pretty sure I missed one shot and took extra damage more than I expected to, because I was actually like almost full health probably heading into the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you probably took damage from the head at some point.
Oh,
Which
oh,
does a
I
lot more
remember. I
damage.
took damage from one of the platforms in the beginning as well.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that was just bad execution, but
But this
other than
was
that,
this was only 2 seconds off your PB, right? So or the
post
PB on the
yeah.
leaderboard at least.
Yeah. I don't know, the 35 eludes me, man. I've been so close to it so many times, and it just something always happens. Something
Well,
always.
when it comes to the commentator curse, though, I mean, you can blame it both on us, though. But I can say the drinks are on us.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I felt, I'm just glad I got like half bubble skip. I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and
Yeah,
my heart was pounding the whole time. I was like, ah.
that was cool to see you get that backup, get the
No,
get
I
bubble
was
skip from the big bubble.
I was just hoping though. I was hoping for the best for you, man, and same for you, Mr. Cab.
Yeah, GG to both of you. It was
You
great
guys
race.
did
It was
very
a lot of
good.
fun to commentate.
So who's my next victim, man? Do we know? I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be the victim next, but I just want to know, who do I go against now?
I'm just a sparring partner over here. Don't mind me.
Let's see. We can check.
Let's see.
RF.
The next.
You're gonna play the winner of Papat versus Kumba or Tempest Mask.
Oh my goodness! So
So
I will be the victim next.
So it might be a showdown between 2 MM6 runners in MM5. If it does end up being you versus Papat.
I got to work on my slide cancels again.
Can you guys like get a ROM hack that makes it so you can't jump out of slides in Mega Man 5 just to keep it interesting?
Oh, that would be crazy, man.
You guys can also be thankful that on Gravity Man stage, though, you'd have to press up to slide and not have the controls reversed.
Oh, that's true as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
If we were playing the other Mega Man 5, then you could press up to slide cancel. Okay, I'll go home now.
Oh, my mind is twisted right now with all the ups and downs.
If there's anybody out there in chat wondering what the heck I'm talking about, I'm mostly known for Game Boy 5, so stop listening to me.
Mega Man V.
Yeah, at some point I've got to make sure everybody out there actually knows what I'm talking about before this is all just one giant inside joke.
Yeah. Well, so anyways, do any of you two gentlemen have any final words to say before we wrap this up?
QT9 is my favorite boss.
Big Pets is my favorite boss.
That is definitely an opinion. Circling Q9.
All right. Well, anyways, do you have any final thoughts, Viral Pigman, before we wrap this up?
No, just GG, Cab and RF, and congrats on your PB, Cab, and we'll look forward to your live 35 later, RF, against in the finals.
I can't believe RF's going to get the 34 against Papat.
I know. How exciting!
Say it and say it. Let's go.
Yeah, make sure you tune into the rest of the tournament, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for having me. See you guys.
Thank you guys so much. This is Coop17 and signing out, and we'll see y'all later.
Yep. See you guys later. See you in the later matches.